Alright, assalamu alaikum everyone. I just want to make another quick video. Again, thank you. So many people have sent in pictures. Let me take this out actually. They've sent in pictures of the moon that they've seen. And I've got a few comments and I've received a question on WhatsApp now about 10 times. So I'm going to try my best to answer this question about second day moon. And by the end of this question, I don't want anybody to use this phrase, second day moon. Is a meaningless phrase, in my opinion. What does a second day moon mean? It could mean, one, the time from when the sun and the moon was in conjunction is more than 24 hours. It could mean that, okay? It could mean, two, the moon on the 30th day of the month, plausible. Or it could mean, three, the second day after which the moon was visible. All right, it could mean any of those three things. There's no phrase in English, the second day moon. I think it's a translation from another language. But the way it's being used is as follows. We're looking at the moon, and based on the size of the moon should have been seen yesterday. That is totally bogus. Totally bogus. I'm going to explain to you in a few seconds why and how. The size of the moon, it has a relationship, yes, to the age, of course, as the moon. What we mean by the moon, age of the moon is when the sun and the moon and the earth are in one line, it's invisible. As it becomes, if you like, older and older and older, it gets a bit bigger. The first time we can see the moon is normally after 24 hours anyway, okay? So most visible moons are second day, meaning after 24 hours old. There are some world records held. They're like 12 hours, 11 hours with telescopes and stuff, but just to clarify that. So that's what the age of the moon means. But it's totally bogus to think, I've seen the moon, it looks a bit bigger than it did last month, I must have missed it yesterday. Because the size of that crescent is determined by many things. Do you remember at the beginning, I think it was this month or last month, we had something called a supermoon. The full moon was massive, alright? You looked at the sky, it looked like a big disc in the sky. Sometimes when you look at the full moon, it's very, very small. But it's the same phase, because the size of the moon is determined by many factors, including how close the moon is to the earth in its orbit, okay? Because sometimes the moon is close and sometimes the moon is far. So the moon can be young but close to the earth and it will appear very large. The moon can be old but distant and it might be quite difficult to see because it's quite thin. So if somebody says to you, I've seen the moon, it's a second day moon, that's bogus chat. That's totally bogus. I want to reassure you, go to the video that we put up yesterday and we had senior astronomer Dr. Emily Drabek-Maunda, astrophysicist. She told us, we made the video together, the moon was not visible. Nobody even saw it in the UK. Nobody saw it in Europe. Nobody saw it in Africa. Those were the three places that I mentioned. And if you're looking at the moon today and you think, oh, well, it's a bit bigger than I imagine a new crescent should be, it means that, you know, we're here to help you and we're here to help you learn, but that's totally not correct, okay? That's not a good way of looking at things. So, to summarize, a second day moon is not a good phrase. What I think you're saying is, the moon appears so big, we should have seen it yesterday. No, the moon was not visible yesterday, alright? People tried, you tried. But a moon may appear bigger and smaller due to a variety of factors, including its angular separation from the sun, so how far it is from the sun, what kind of distance it is from the sun, what angle it is from the sun, and how close it is relative to us in the UK, or on the earth, sorry, how close it is and how far it is. And a good way just to help you remember is when you look at a full moon, you know, it's always 13, 14 or 15 or whatever, 16 days into its orbit, depending where you're starting the counting from. Sometimes it's huge, and that's the same full moon, and sometimes it's very, very small. You can't look at a full moon and say, well, you know, that full moon should have been yesterday, or, you know, it's big. No, the size of the moon has many factors involved, okay? I understand why you come to that misconception. So from this day forth, don't say second day moon. It's not a helpful phrase. You can say, maybe we should have seen the moon yesterday, and maybe it was cloudy, and we can have that discussion, but it's an unhelpful phrase. I hope that's clarified. Thank you so much. Any other questions, put them in the comments. We'll try and respond.